Hello all, and welcome to my Maldonado Career Mode series. A series that promises to be a bit more serious than my other videos, and a bit less, well,
horsey.
Why am I going to be doing a Career Mode series, I hear you ask? Well, there's a few reasons. Firstly, they seem to be really popular at the moment. Secondly, the online is more broken on F1 2015 than my hopes of ever achieving 75,000 subscribers, so it's good to have an offline series. 3, you can see me race properly for once. And finally, I did ask on Twitter, and it seemed like a popular idea. So without further ado, let's dive in to Melbourne. You joined me going around the final corner of qualifying at the first race of the season in Melbourne, and it looks to me like I'm about to bag P6 on the grid for Maldonado. It's an absolutely sterling result at the start of the season. Maldonado's thrilled. The engineer's just beaming. Look at him, he cannot believe. I mean, he expected Maldonado to be in the barriers, not P6. And the standings there confirm the results. It's Hamilton and Rosberg locking out the front row, as you'd expect, really, let's be honest. Then it's the two Ferraris, followed by Bottas. And I, as Maldonado, have separated the Williams with Grosjean all the way down in 9th position. So let's get on to the race tomorrow.
Hello and welcome from Albert Park, Australia for today's race.
Hello, David Croft, but I do apologise. It is my responsibility to be doing the commentary for this afternoon's race, and as you can see on screen, it is raining. It is raining for the race in Melbourne. That's going to throw some real drama into the equation early on in the season. Things are not going... Oh my god! That's the most terrifying thing I've ever seen. Anyway, yes, I've somewhat lost my composure after that scary woman smiled at me, but it is still P6 as stated, so let's get ready and dive in. So here we are then, on the grid. It looks to me like an intermediate tyre race. That's what every driver has gone for, so not heavy enough for the full wets, but they may come into it later on in the Grand Prix. So we are ready to go from P6 in the first race of my career. Off we go now, and it's Bottas leading me towards turn 1, with Massa coming down my outside, and he's just left me for dead. I offered little resistance there, but I've gone down his inside into turn 1 there and retaken P6, so I have held position here. The game wants me to finish P3, but that's very optimistic indeed, because the cars ahead of me are very, very fast. If I hold P6, it's a good performance, but I need to remember that damage is on here. So any contact, any damage really to the car is going to be damaging to my Grand Prix. And just as I say that, I make contact with the right rear tyre of Bottas. Need to be very careful there, not fit the stereotype of Maldonado and stay out the wars as we go through turn 9. Everything seems in order so far, just sat on the gearbox of Bottas there, with Massa now suitably far behind, so I can focus on overtaking Bottas in the next few corners, although the next... After this long straight here, it's a bit of a nasty fast chicane, so I don't think I'm going to get past there, but definitely into turn 13 following that chicane, I should be able to maybe get a move on him, so I need to make sure I stay close, take this chicane nice and carefully, stay all over his gearbox. I've gone a bit wide there, I've lost control, I've hit the wall. Oh no, that's front wing gone, that's a disastrous start to the race. I've made a bit of contact with Massa as well, and I am, oh dear, all prospects of this Grand Prix are in big trouble now already. I mean, I'm way down in P10, I've got no front wing, I've got to limp back to the pits now. I've made contact with Nasser now. That's not great at all. I'm wide, I need to get out of the way here. I need to get into the pits and just regroup, because that's a disaster. That is quite possibly the worst possible lap 1 I could have had in this career mode. I'm going to be in last place after this pit stop. There's no other way of saying it. I'm going to be back of the pack. And it's a recovery job, really. Already we have a recovery job on the cards. I mean, I think points are still possible. I think maybe 8th could be a target finish, because I was faster than most of the field, but I am going to have to now get some fast laps in and repair some of the damage that crash has done. What I could seriously do with now is a safety car, but as we all know, now I think we should look at the safety car. What? That's not in the game either? Well, what is in this game? That's not going to happen, so I'm just going to have to catch up the field with raw pace. Now, interestingly, Kvyat, who you can see just ahead of me there, has just come out the pit lane, which is interesting because it's a very early time to be pitting, so I can only assume either he's gone onto the wet tyres, which would be a bold decision, or he's had a collision. So I'm just going to try and catch him up now and see what actually is the reason. I'm getting into the realms of being able to tell what tyre Kvyat is on. Now, we are approaching the chicane, the very fast chicane. Not going to get past here, obviously, because that would be reckless and wild and suicidal. But now we're going to get a real good shot at it as we go towards turn 13. I'm going to pull to the inside. He's on the intermediate tyre, so I can only assume there was contact. But I'm now down the inside. I'm going to take this position. No, I'm not. No, I am not going to take this position because Kvyat has shut the door. That was very, well, resistant driving, I think is how I'd describe it from the AI. I'm not used to that. You've got to give props to to Codemasters for that one, because that was quite... They've worked magic with the AI in this game, it does have to be said. Interestingly, something else interesting is that NASA, as you can see, is out. There's only 19 cars left in the race, so I think we have to assume, as he's on intermediate tyres, that there's been a collision, that there's been contact. And that's why he's pitted and NASA's been removed. I didn't know if they were close on track. I didn't think they were, but that's the only explanation I can come up with. Meanwhile, I am absolutely all over his 6 now as we go flat out through turn 8. And now this is a real good opportunity going down the outside towards turn 9. Going to hold it round, 2 wheels on the grass, giving him plenty of space. And I have plenty of space to swoop round the outside and take, rather underwhelmingly take P18 out of 19 cars, and the quest for points continues. My tyres are beginning to show their age now. It's not good. I've not pulled away from Kvyat quite as much as I'd like to, and I'm really struggling on these tyres. I don't think a full race on them is actually going to be possible here, because I'm really struggling. As you can see, Kvyat is all over me now because his tyres are, what, 4-5 laps younger than mine? And I'm actually getting a bit worried here because he is all over me. In fact, he's gaining remarkably here and could make a move towards the end of the lap here. He's actually pulled to my outside now. 2 into 1 here could be ugly. It's very ugly indeed. He spun me out. What a reckless overtake that was from him. That's not an overtaking point. Seriously, and my whole race is in tatters again. I mean, my race is just a write-off. So this is the replay now. You can see him approaching the fast chicane. He's all over me, ducking right, ducking left. He pulls to the outside. We're side by side, and bruh. I suppose 2 into 1 doesn't go, and I understeered into him. I really am acting like Maldonado in this Grand Prix, crashing into pretty much everything. So I might as well take a gamble. I'm going to go onto the wet tyres for this, in this pit stop rather. You know, I've got nothing to lose. Give it a shot. Hope for more rain. You know, maybe I'll get lucky and everyone will have to come in. Not really sure what's going on in that Toro Rosso garage. There appears to be a glitch, which I've gained a position. I've gained a position because of a glitch. P18. Don't worry, everyone. Life is good. Life is good in P18. In the meantime, let's see if this wet tyre gamble pays off. It didn't pay off. It didn't pay off. I'm about to finish the Grand Prix in last position, apart from the cars that retired or were the victim of some pit stop glitch, which meant that they were sat in the pit lane. Not really sure what happened to the Toro Rossos there, but I am last of the finishers. It's a disastrous start to my F1 career, but I hope for better in Malaysia. Lewis Hamilton took the win ahead of Raikkonen and Rosberg. Do tell me if you enjoyed this video or if you hated this video. It is quite a trial series, so I will be continuing it based on the feedback. In the meantime, thank you ever so much for watching, and goodbye.